And just like that, we are back with another major bye round, the second of the season, so 5 matches to get through. Before we get to that though, let's go ahead and take a look at how we did last week. A much better week. I'd say easily our best of the season, seeing as we only got one incorrect pick, and that was the first match of the round. Shout out to all the patterners that actually went with the Knights. I was saying last week that Manly were due for a loss as they've been so up and down. They were in the box seat at half time, but had a bit of, adversity to deal with, and unfortunately choked in the end. So yeah, after that loss, everything else was a green tick. Margins were a big miss, as games we thought were going to be rulers ended up being hidings in favour of the teams we selected, and for try scorers we only got 2. Herbie Farnworth and Chanel Harris Tavita were the ones to salute. So let's go ahead and take a look at these 5 matches, sift through the changes and make some selections. And in the first match of the round, we are heading over to the Shire, Shark Park, where the Sharkies host the Dragons. In terms of ins and outs, both teams have minimal losses to their starting lineup. In fact, their exclusions for the Sharks are injury related, with Keo Ito sidelined, so the returning from suspension Ronaldo Mulitalo will be back on the sting, with Mawene Hiroti shifting infield to fill that void left by Ito. On the side of St. George, only one origin affected exclusion, and that is Valentine Holmes. They'll also be without the returning, he was returning last week, Christian Dubulotu, who I believe re-injured his hammy. So they have Corey Allen playing at centre with Tyrell Sloan on the wing. As we take a little deep dive into their stats, their head-to-head, first of all, Cronulla do have the upper hand with 30 wins out of 54 played, and more recently have handed St. George a couple of L's last season, restricting them to 10 points in both matches. That aside, it's honestly hard for me to look past Cronulla as they are pretty much at full strength. I know Keo Ito is a huge loss, but I've said it in the past, Mawene Hiroti has been a great fill-in for them, and I don't see them missing a beat really. In fact, I see them looking to make a statement here, as they did kind of embarrass themselves losing to the Baby Chooks during the first major bye round a few weeks ago. They also coming into this match facing a lot of pressure, riding back-to-back losses. St. George also hates playing at Shark Park, as they've only won 7 of the 22 games played here. It's looking all sky blue for me. To be fair, it was looking all sky blue a few weeks ago, where they then turned around and got ambushed. I can't see them making the same mistakes this time around. Like I said, they'll be looking to make a statement, so I will be going 13 plus, and to get on the board, I'm going to go with Adam Fanor Blake. Game number 2 is coming at you on Friday night, 8 PM at Seabus Super Stadium, where the Titans host the Sea Eagles. Looking at the ins and outs, starting with the home side here, they'll be without their pillars in the middle, Tino Fa'asomaleaui and Mo Fotuaika, and the players to fill that void through the middle of the field for the Titans. Starting in the front row will be Jamin Jolliffe, and Cleese Haas actually replaces Big Tino at 13. They also have, coming off the pine, Isaac Fa'asomaleaui, and making his debut, Josh Patson, as well as Tigers recruit Tuki Simpkins. On the other side of the field, Manly will be without young gun Lehi Opoate, but do welcome back a trio of starters in Jason Saab, Siosiwa Taukeaho, and their main man, Tom Trbojevic, which leads me into my pick. You know, I was leaning towards an upset just given off the efforts put in by the Titans against the Storm last week, but without Fotuaika and Fa'asomaleaui, I do think they will struggle against this Manly pack, looking to bounce back from a humiliating loss where the Knights came back from a more than winnable game. Plus, Manly have DCE, who was recently let go from the Maroons, as well as their main man in Tom Trbojevic. I'm not too sure if Tommy will be at his best for this. He's looked pretty underdone over the course of this season. He just doesn't look 100%. He doesn't look 80%, to be honest. So I'm going to hesitantly take Manly. We'll go 1 to 12 points, and to score a try, we're going to go with Tommy Turbo in his return. At the halfway point of the round, we head over to the Steel City, where the Nui Knights take on the Sydney Roosters. Now, looking at the ins and outs, for Newcastle, they'll be without 2 of their most experienced players in Tice Rizal and Kalen Ponga. So of course, Fletcher Sharp moves to fullback. Taking a spot in the number 6 jersey, they welcome back Jackson Hastings. And joining the bench in the 14, Matty Arthur. Filling in for Tyson in the 13 will be Phoenix Crossland. Now, for the Roosters, they'll be without, of course, Watson, Toya, Crichton, Collins, and Len New. They do welcome back quite a bit of class, with Now Fahu White, Dom Young on the wing. Sam Walker makes his way back in the halves. He'll be partnering Hugo Savala, with Sandon Smith shifting to the 14, and of course Nat Butcher and Zach Docker Clay. So not quite the baby chooks, as they do welcome back a few mainstays. And just looking at this round as a whole, it's looking like a favourites angle. I'm trying to find potential upsets, and so far I'm having a tough time in doing so. Looking at the head-to-head, the Chooks do have an overwhelming lead, winning 34 of the 48 played. Previous meetings show that they have beat them barely by 2 points, both last season and the season prior. And their form heading into this game, and they'll be coming off that amazing comeback, and prior to the bye, the Chooks lost by 2 points to the current number 2 team in the league in the Raiders. It's again, on paper, another pretty straightforward pick, for me at least. That is the Roosters here. I think their attack will be the difference, and they actually have a pretty decent winning record at McDonald Jones. So we are going to go 13 plus, and for try scorers, again, we are going to jump on the back of the man with the hot hand. That is Mark Nawanganita Wase. He's still on a hot streak, scoring 7 tries of his previous 5 games. Let us move on. Game number 4 takes us to Queensland Country Bank Stadium, where the Cowboys host the Dolphins. For the Cowboys, they'll be without 6 of their original starters, 4 due to origin, and the notable players joining the squad: Jason Taumololo, Jake Clifford will partner rookie Jackson Purdue. Out of favour, Maroons winger Marita Ulangi will be on the wing, Kai O'Donnell joins the back row, and Caden Lars will be making his debut coming off the pine. For the Finns, they'll be without the hammer, of course, and Max Plath due to injury, so Jake Averillo goes to fullback, and Kurt Donahue will be starting in the 13. By the way, Max Fangai is the new face in the back line, taking Averillo's spot at centre. As for my pick, I will be on the Finns. I want to keep it pretty short and sharp. I think the Cowboys have lost too much, especially in key positions, with Dearden in the 6, the core of their forward pack in like a Nanai, Cotter, especially Reece Robson. Couple that with the Finns just looking damn good, especially in attack. I don't see the Cowboys' wishy-washy defense keeping them at bay. So we will be going the Finns 13 plus. And to score a try, we'll be looking towards another bloke that is on an absolute heater, and that is Herbie Farnworth, who has scored 6 out of his previous 5 games. And to conclude the second major bye round, we have a heater between the Bunnies and the Doggies at a core stadium. As we take a look at the outs list, the Bunnies without super influential players, Cody Walker and Latrell Mitchell on origin duty. Jai Gray jumps to fullback, and in the 6 we have Bud Sullivan. For the Bulldogs, they'll be without a quartet of players in Kurt Mann, Steve Crichton, Matt Burton and Max King. The 3 new inclusions to the 17 are Blake Wilson, Jacob Preston back from suspension, and Jake Turpin to come off the pine in the 14. Wilson jumps onto the wing, Carrazza moves infield to play at centre, and starting in the 6, the talk of the town for the last couple of months, Lockie Galvin will partner Toby Sexton. My pick for this game, like I said, I honestly can't bring myself to select any of the underdogs this week. I can't really make sense of an underdog pick, and I won't be doing so in this match either. Which sucks to say, because I do like taking an underdog or 2, but like I said, I can't really justify taking any underdog picks, whether it be on paper or vibe. Everything is heavily in favor of the favorites this week, so we're not going to overthink it or outthink it. I'm not completely counting the Bunnies out. They will be up for this, especially after going down to them earlier in the season, 32 points to a donor. There will definitely be fights in the Bunnies to keep it close, but like I said, I do think the Bulldogs' fitness will get them over the line in the end. So we're going to go Bulldogs 1 to 12, and to score a try, we're going to go Lockie Galvin to double up. And that about wraps up my tips and predictions for round 15. As per, if you have any tips and predictions of your own, let us know in the comment section down below. Will you be taking any underdogs? As always, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to run straight at the like button, and for more rugby league related content and more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.